Oh, you're opening a bottle. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna cut your hand off.
My roommates, when they moved out, they left a 3 doors down bottle opener that I always used to open up stuff during the shows because I was like, oh, here's this bottle opener that I'm never gonna fucking carry because I don't need that shit polluting my already delicate persona in front of people. Um, and when we moved, I don't know if it made the move, if it didn't make the move, if I just don't know where it is. Probably I just don't know where it is. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll lose it anyway.
Sorry, Erica. Yesterday was a rough day for me. I spent a lot of time drinking on Saturday. I had a wedding. It's a friend of friend of mine, but a watcher of the show. Chris and his wife had their reception on Saturday, and yeah, yeah, I believe I was praying for sweet death at 2 a.m. on a toilet.
I just I don't think that there's ever a time where it's not Matt opens with, yeah, I was drunk at a wedding on Saturday. It's surprising that it pushed you all the way to Monday because many a Sunday show has happened with the I was drunk at a wedding Saturday.
So I got up at like 7 a.m. So I stayed. It was about an hour and a half away. I stayed and I got up at 7 and I didn't want to, I did not feel good. So I didn't go back to sleep. So I came home. So I got home at like 9:30 in the morning and then tried to nap on the couch. And then I had to leave at 11:25. Alyssa did a rabbit adoption and I went to the bar across the street and ate wings and then had a beer. I'm like, oh, well, maybe that'll make me feel better. And then we went to a brewery because Raina's wife is a bartender at this local brewery. So we went and visited her on her second day of work. So I didn't get drunk by any means, but I just did not feel normal.
Because you didn't get drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably would have been better off just getting drunk. But then we went to Walmart and we had to walk around Walmart, which
nobody should do sober.
Oh my god, it is a fucking nightmare. So I just when I got home, I just had a headache and just wanted to go to sleep. And here we are.
And I
All my
felt
fault.
probably just as shitty yesterday without any of the alcohol because I'm old, fragile, and in a very humid area. So, like in California, I would get headaches before it would rain, and then it would rain, and I'd feel okay.
Yeah.
In Michigan, it's like, oh, it's raining. Oh, I feel like crap. What is going on? And I don't know how to handle it yet. But then I felt fine after I actually took some medicine, and I need to just get used to the fact that I'm always going to have to shove pills down my gullet.
Yeah, so you're just on the other side of a lake from me. So we're kind of the same, but not really the same. And it was like 55, 60 all weekend and very pleasant for this time of year. And today it was goddamn 85. And
yeah, no, that I watched all weekend. I'm like, it's 70 degrees, it's 60 degrees. Like, there's no way in shit it's going to be 86 degrees on Monday, like you keep saying. And I kept watching the weather app to say, oh, we were just fucking around. It's not going to be 80 something degrees. No, it was 80 something fucking degrees. It literally said to me last night on the way to bed, it's like, hey, it's going to be 21 degrees warmer tomorrow. You should just leave your balls at home because they're going to be sitting there and festering in their own swill.
Well, we have another fucking flood watch.
Oh, nice.
We've had basically a flood watch for a month at this point, and I guess we've gotten like over 50 inches of rain this year, which is a record year. It sucks. Like it sucks. But yeah, there was like the weather map came out for the rain for tomorrow into Wednesday morning, and it's like the whole state is green, and then there's just this big red line right through where we live, and I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare. I'm sick of it being rainy.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Hey, I found a local root beer called Wild Bill's Root Beer, and I know that I've been saying I want some root beer variants because all there is the basics. You know, as classy as we get is Faygo. So we went to our Christian butcher, and this is what they had there. I'm giving this a shot.
Let me see. You don't get Sprecher, do you?
Yeah, I think we've got Sprecher.
You do. Okay. That was a big thing here,
Ooh.
but now they have a couple
dandy
of sodas. They have root beer. They have a cream soda.
This is not going to last long. This is really good.
They apparently have a hard seltzer now too. I'm just looking. I wanted to look at their sodas. They have a cherry cola, cream soda, root beer, diet root beer, blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, red apple. They have sparkling waters now.
Yeah, in California we had a couple of spots that had a bunch of different types of sodas, and then Ike's is where Ike's the sandwich shop, which is just phenomenal. If you ever are in Northern California or any of the places where they have locations now, go try them out. Do me a favor, try a deep throat.
Oh, I thought it was the Slutty Mario or something.
Close. They do have a Mario, which is very close to the deep throat because I think that also has mozzarella sticks on it. But get a deep throat, get it as dirty as it comes, and thank me later. But that's where I found the Dang root beers, which was the butterscotch root beer, which was my choice for quite a while.
Huh.
This is just lovely.
Yeah, I really wish I would have got to Ike's when I was out there, and I have no desire to ever go back to San Francisco. So,
No, fuck that noise.
for me, I guess. Are you ready for the surprise of the 4 years we've done this?
Oh shit! Sure.
I'm drinking soda. I have a nice Zevia strawberry. It's a pink can.
That is lovely.
I fucking love this stuff.
What is it called?
Zevia?
Zevia. So not stevia, not the
used with
NutraSweet
stevia.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what they use to sweeten it. I don't know. It's do you have Woodman's by you, or is that just a?
I don't recognize it.
Okay, it's probably local, and I'm just making this shit up. But they have the stuff for like 2 6-packs for $5 or $6 or $7, and the Meyer is like $5.50 a 6-pack. Yeah, so I'm like, I'll just go down there and buy it by the case. Oh, Jesus. Erica wants a mug that instead of saying Tears of My Enemies, it says Tears of Matt Stein.
I want a shot glass that says Jizz of Matt Stein.
It's going to be my dick tears.
Right.
Let's let that one sink in. Dick tears is semen, if you're not sure.
Who are also people who die on the boat with Dracula.
Wait, what?
I listened to your new show.
Uh-oh. I haven't. It could just be Erica making fun of me for an hour, and I don't even know.
No, she spreads it out a little bit. I think she's got dual targets. So there's moments where you're unscathed. There's also moments where you're really quiet. So I assume that at some point you had to go poop.
That's possible. There was I thought it was weird when she asked me to record it, and then all of a sudden she had to edit it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's like I enjoy that side of Erica, which we get here. Not that I don't love Apex and the Abyss, her own show, but her personality, her own show is a narrative. She's telling the stories. You know, it's fun to see her break loose, and to get to just listen to it as opposed to trying to keep up with her.
Yeah, so you can always tell, and I've given her shit for this, and this isn't even like me being mean, but you can always tell when she reads something because she uses her Apex voice, which is like her hosty reading voice, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I feel like I probably do the same thing. I think most people probably do.
I think we all do. There's so we take turns. So I believe the next one Dan does, and then the one after that I do. Dan is the most thorough person I have ever met in my entire life. Like fucking showed up. You remember in grade school and they had like the big paper you would draw on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just imagine him having one of those full of notes.
Yeah. He's the Monica.
I never watched Friends, but I know enough about it to understand that that's what you were referencing.
That is damn well what I was referencing.
Yes. I see it's on Netflix though, so I thought about watching
it. I've watched that show so many times through that I've actually had to tell myself, no, don't put on Friends. It's always on. You're never gonna not be able to watch it again, but just give your brain a break from it. Just fill your time with something else. It's this concept of choice of what to watch and then still going to the same bullshit reruns that are on all the time is very it's it's like I'm not enjoying the liberation from TV that we've been granted.
Well, and that's like with The Office. Like I think The Office is great and I love it, but it's like there's so much other stuff out there. Like and I feel bad. I went back and I watched Parks and Rec, which is also a show I've seen a bunch. It's great, but I don't know.
Yeah, Erin just rewatched Parks and Rec. She was going through a few different shows that she was watching the whole series of, and I mean, I'm glad to walk into the room and Parks and Rec is on. I'm like, okay, that's great, but I'm trying to find stuff that I haven't watched already, stuff that I've got on my Plex that I haven't made it through yet. Like I still haven't seen all of Due South, and I love Due South, and it's not like it's a long-lived show. It's about 4 seasons. And I was starting to watch it when I was still in California. I was watching it on my lunch breaks, but ran out of lunch breaks and ran out of internet while we were there, actually. So I haven't gotten back to it. And I just, there's so many things. I just finally watched the recent season of Twin Peaks, which is from 2 years ago. And I love fucking Twin Peaks. And that show was fucking crazy. And 18 hours of crazy. That feels like 37 and a half hours of crazy. I feel like
bent on getting as many people to watch The Good Place as possible, so she's telling you to watch that.
And I need to get to The Good Place. I watched the first episode and then just kind of like went, all right, I'll come back to it, and haven't gotten back to it. And of course, now the show's ending.
Yeah,
but it seems like it's ending on good terms.
I may finish it now. So it started to get a little stale for me. I think what's on the 4th season now.
Yeah, it's just starting its 4th season, I think, and this is the last season.
Yeah, 4th season. Okay, so maybe I did finish 3. Huh? Maybe I didn't give up on it then. I think I cared. I got less excited to watch new episodes, and I believe that might be why. Like it was starting to teeter off a bit, so maybe that's why they did it. Yeah, January 24th, 2019 was the end of the 3rd season.
Well, I also want to do like a rewatch of Veronica Mars, which I watched as it was airing, all 3 seasons, and then they've had that new season. I supported the movie on Kickstarter and watched the movie when it came out, or before it came out when they granted it to us. But I want to rewatch it all and watch the new season that just came out.
I will tell you what, since we're talking about new TV, I watched the newest episode of The Simpsons. Not terrible.
Oh, wow.
Not good. Not terrible. But it's really exciting because the 30th Treehouse of Horrors is the 666th episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, man, hopefully that continues to be not terrible.
Well, yeah, but the Treehouse of Horrors have generally been pretty good because they're a little more out there, and
they can do more with it, but then sometimes they still have just kind of slacked.
Yep.
We watched this week's episode of Saturday Night Live, and it was 90% pure garbage.
That sucks.
Because they keep giving Kyle Mooney digital shorts, which is fucking why is he still anyway? And then we watched the new episode of the season premiere of Modern Family, and that is really just a low for that show. I know they're on their last season too. They're finishing off, but like Aaron was, shit, this is awful. I'm like, yeah, this is not good. And we made it through it. I said, well, I can delete it off the DVR. We don't have to watch the rest of the season. She's like, nope, we got to go through it. Yeah. We come this far. We watched the whole time. We've got to finish this off. I'm like, oh yeah. So how was the series finale of Breaking Bad, hun? And how was the end of Nip Tuck? Because she didn't finish him. She refused to watch the last episodes because she was too into it. And she's like, I don't want it to end. I'm like, yeah, then fuck you. And you're watched the last season of Modern Family. Like, this is our Dexter. This is fucking Dexter last season. It's like, why am I doing this to myself? Why don't I just put a nail through my cock?
Is she gonna? God damn, that's gnarly. Is she gonna watch the movie?
Which movie?
The Breaking Bad movie.
She didn't know about it, so I told her that was coming up on Netflix pretty soon, and so I don't know if that's going to encourage her to watch the last episode of the show. She also said someone spoiled it for her. I'm like, it's been fucking 5 years. It's gonna get spoiled. Yeah. But they probably spoiled it for her early on. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. And since I didn't really watch it, it's not pressing to me. But If she enjoys something, I want her to get to enjoy it. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous. Is like, yeah, we're gonna keep watching this thing that we now don't like because we've been here the whole time. And I understand that. I mean, I went through the whole thing with Big Bang Theory, and it got kind
I
of
gave up in a
rough.
couple
Yeah,
seasons.
and I don't blame anybody for doing that. I couldn't make it through How I Met Your Mother after they paired Robin up with Barney.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah, I remember Glenn Rubenstein saying to me, "Oh, you're not going to watch the last season? They're just about to finish off the show, and they're actually going to introduce the mother." I'm like, "No, fuck this show," and I stand by it. I don't watch it in reruns. I'm like, no, it was good for 2 seasons, and then it was just directionless.
It was good for 2 seasons. Famous last words right there.
Yeah. Some things that's what I appreciate what The Good Place is doing, finishing in 4 seasons, realizing that this is what they've got to tell and this is what they're going to do. That makes sense. I like that.
So I always wonder if it was meant to be 4 seasons or if they just were like, "Hey, we can end this or this can just go real wrong."
I mean, if it feels like it's a natural point for them to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know, we're coming up in our 4th season. I can see capping this now. Like, what more do we really have to say with the show? Do we want it to get repetitive?" I mean, Parks and Rec, really, the 1st season almost doesn't count. The second season is when it started to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
It cut some of the dead weight. It brought in some new characters that were very interesting. And then by the time that it got to that point of, okay, it's starting to hit its lull, they reinvented themselves for the last season to finish it off, and they finished it off strong. Whereas The Office, it seemed like right after Michael left, I just like, I can't watch the Ed Helms show. I can't watch Andy be Andy. I don't like this at all. And so I was just dump, get out. I came back for the last episode of that, but it wasn't like there was any love there at that point. It was just, okay, I get it. It ended.
No, and they brought Michael Scott back just because they had to.
Right, for a one perfect joke.
Yeah.
He got one perfect joke, and the show finished off, and it was sweet. But after Jim and Pam get married, it was like that show really had said all it had to say for me. Mm-hmm. You know, not that the other characters weren't great, not that it wasn't an ensemble cast, it all deserved something. But when that happened, and then when Michael left right after, I don't know that I really want to stick around for this. And I'm sure that there's some good stuff still, but
not a whole lot. I mean, Jim then like becomes a sports writer, and that's just, there's a lot of weird shit that happened. I agree. It probably should have hung it up. But even season 1's pretty good, but 2 through 5 or 6 maybe even bits of 7. I think that's about as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm. And now that's one of the shows they're talking about either redoing or spinning off for the new NBC Peacock.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck is NBC Peacock?
NBC's new streaming service that is going to be available in 2020. It's going to have The Office. It's going to have, I think, Friends is going to be on there.
Okay, that's why they're pulling it off Netflix.
Yeah,
I feel like I read that, but I drank it away.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff they're talking about bring back. They're going to do a relaunch of Punky Brewster. It's that kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, these things that you remember fondly. We're gonna do everything we can to fuck it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good. Like, even I'm looking at NBC shows. Like even Superstore's kind of getting a little shitty.
I've never gotten into that show.
I mean, it was kind of funny because it reminded me of Employee of the Month and The Office together.
Yeah.
But with every great show, they find out the good things that people like about certain characters, and then like, all right, we need you to do this 8 million times more.
Yeah, Beat saying Peacock is doing a new Battlestar Galactica with the showrunner from Mr. Robot.
I never got into Battlestar Galactica.
I didn't either. I hear a lot of people thought that the recent revival, like now it's almost 20 years ago, but that revival was incredible, and I don't disbelieve him or anything. But I guess the Mr. Robot showrunner is going to come in, and he's not redoing the series so much. It's supposed to be able to coexist with the other series. At least that's what he's implied, which is
Yeah.
good. That's the thing is I don't want to see people get screwed out of like, oh, we really loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so here's a new Buffy the Vampire Slayer that has nothing from the one that you liked before, because we can't get Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy again, although she for some reason came back for some weird Cruel Intentions sequel way down the line of that.
Yeah. I didn't realize Mr. Robot comes back on Sunday.
And there's another one. I watched and loved the first season of Mr. Robot, and I have not watched anything past it.
It got weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's already weird, but it was really good weird.
You know what NBC needs to do? Bring back Saved by the Bell.
They are.
Oh, yeah, that weird fucking whatever.
No, they're bringing out a new Saved by the Bell, and apparently Mark Paul Gosselaar is playing the mayor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sounds fucking stupid where it's like an alternate reality or something, or an alternate timeline. He's the mayor and he's trying to shut down the school or...
So he's the Belding now?
Yeah, basically.
And just because you're losing your hair doesn't mean you have to do that. He's on that new spinoff from Blackish.
Oh, gosh. When I was Googling him to see what he looks like now, the second result is his mom. Is his mom like uncharacteristically hot?
I don't know.
Either that or she died.
Oh.
Nope, she didn't die.
Or she's a hot dead person.
She might be a hot dead person. Everyone's into a hot corpse once in a while. Why am I fucking... She's a flight attendant. And she's Indonesian. Why do I care about this person?
Maybe she tweets.
There's an article... The unauthorized story... Oh, what? Yeah, I don't fucking care. He wrote
the unauthorized story of Zach Morris's mom.
Yeah, well, it's called the unauthorized story, the unauthorized Saved by the Bell story.
Oh, that movie they did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was whoa.
He smoked pot with his mother when he was 18. Okay.
Right. Oh, Clutch My Pearls.
Yeah, I don't really know. That's weird. If he was like 12, I could see caring a little more.
Yeah, the only one who would like really feel dumbfounded by that is probably the girl who played Lisa.
Ooh, what is she up to?
She went very Christian, I think, after the show.
Lisa Dodo. Oh yeah, Lark Voorhees. She's got a weird face. Sorry, I know she's listening.
But not with her face.
Well, her ears are attached to her face.
You don't know.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. When you said weird, I mean, I thought weird.
They might not be her. She looks like she had some work done. And to me, that looks, when it looks unnatural, they look weird.
Yeah, that's
like
too bad.
Everyone on the Jersey Shore now.
Everybody on the Jersey Shore when it started.
No, I mean they were at least like normal weird. Now they're like fucking plastic weird. I would still have sex with Pauly D though.
Did you say with Pauly D?
Oh, sorry, with Pauly's D.
I don't know what any of those words meant.
Pauly D's the one with the blowout.
I don't
like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I could not place anybody from that show, and I thank my golden stars.
Podcast to Terror because Corey has not ever seen anything about the Jersey Shore. You know what? We're turning this into a Jersey Shore podcast. The Jersey Shore cast.
Well, now I am terrified.
Just finally something to fucking scare me. I might want to do that.
I remember a commercial with The Situation and Sarah Palin's daughter. After when she was a teenager, she got pregnant. And then I don't know if they were both on Dancing with the Stars together, but then they did some commercial about using condoms for sex or in her case, or abstinence. And she's like pitching abstinence right before she gets knocked up a second time out of wedlock. And in situations like, and I got to get a condom so I don't have the situation fall into a situation with a situation. And just like, I think he stuttered himself into his own like fucking time loop. But it was just the worst fucking example of like two people that definitely are poster children for not having unprotected sex, who should still not be telling me about having protected sex. It's like, no, this is...
I mean, it's a little different than if the situation was giving someone tax advice.
Right.
But...
I mean, he was taxing my ability not to vomit.
That was the only thing he was paying taxes on. Heyo. No?
No.
I mean, I guess if you want, we could talk about this movie.
We can talk about the movie.
I
What
would
was the
like
movie,
to.
Matt?
I would like to preface that I watched The Prophecy before heavy drinking.
And that was your first mistake.
Mm-hmm. If I was smart, I would have rewatched it. What?
I don't know. It sounds like you've got something to say.
I don't. Oh, fucking. Erica said we should talk about Taco Bell and Hereditary. I watched Midsummer. I was really expecting you to say something when I told you.
I haven't seen it yet.
I know.
I don't want to prejudge it. I'm
It's not terrible.
No, you said that you enjoyed it.
It's very strange.
Anthony said that he really liked it a lot. And
yeah, but Anthony liked Hereditary, so everything.
No, he didn't. Anthony didn't like Hereditary. He went right from saying that he didn't like that to saying he was going to see Midsummer, and I was very interested to know what he felt about that. After that, we haven't found anybody who likes Hereditary yet.
Who fucking liked it? Someone liked it out there.
Someone out there, I'm sure, but not on our show so far. That we know that nobody that we've asked has laid claim to being the person who can say, "Oh, Hereditary was great."
All right. Well, yeah, Midsummer's pretty good. I recommend checking it out. Now, let's talk about some Taco Bell menu updates. They've added the toasted cheddar chalupa. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The shell's a little too crunchy. They still got the Grando Nachos box. In case you're interested in a little Taco Bell treat. The Black Bean Crunchwrap Supreme is back for all of you weird non-meat eaters out there. They've also made a Black Bean Quesarito. And that's going to do it for this week's Taco Bell Minute.
Call me when the Cholito comes back.
I feel like you made that up. Cholito.
I believe it was originally called the Cholito, and then it was changed to the chili cheese burrito because people felt Cholito was not expressive.
Was fucking great. The wedding that I was at had taquitos.
Oh yeah,
as one of the things that I was very excited to see those.
Yeah, you roll shit up and fry it in a tortilla shell or goddamn egg roll bun or whatever. It's fucking stuffed food.
I had some mozzarella sticks that were wrapped in wonton wrappers yesterday.
Yeah. Wow, God damn.
I know.
So mozzarella sticks, fried or breaded?
Okay. What do you mean fried or breaded?
Do you go deep fried in a batter or do you go breaded?
Oh, batter and ow! I just yanked my headphones out of my fucking ears. I prefer batter and then fried.
Batter fried.
Wonton is king, but batter and fried is second.
Yeah. I mean, I thought my entire life, breaded mozzarella sticks was the way to go. And then this place, this fish fry place out by us in California, had battered mozzarella sticks, and goddamn, they were just so phenomenal. And of course, can't find them here.
Someone's got to have them around.
Someone. I mean, mozzarella sticks themselves are not the big thing out here as I thought they were going to be.
Eric is pissed about me bringing up the mozzarella sticks. I was texting her while I was eating them. Like, you gotta fucking find these things. They're so goddamn good.
Where did you find them?
It's a bar called The Bar. There's like 4 of them around. It's like a local place. It's pretty nice. They have decent wings. They have
just full of really tense lawyers.
50. No, it's a sports bar. And there was no Packer game, so it was pretty dead. But it was they have that 50-cent wings. So I got like 15 wings and an order of mozzarella sticks and a single beer. Yep, it's pretty good. The Prophecy. So I really like the concept. Like, I've always been really fascinated by the concept of like angels versus demons, hell coming to earth, and all that shit. But the acting was god awful. And you have Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken while trying to be like a demon.
So 3 of the actors in this came straight out of Pulp Fiction. Which is weird, right? Like, Pulp Fiction was released the year before. This was 1995. Pulp Fiction, I think, was 94. Mm-hmm. And we got Christopher Walken. We've got Eric Stoltz. And I do not remember the actress's name, unfortunately, but she played Honey Bunny in the diner scenes in the movie. And you motherfuckers move, and I'm going to blow your fucking head off.
I also didn't care for the fact that Adam Goldberg was in this.
Do you not like Adam Goldberg? Is it because you're siding with Adam F. Goldberg because you love the Goldbergs?
It's not that. I just didn't like his character. It could have been anyone. I don't feel like he added or took away from it.
No, that's the thing is like we're used to seeing Adam Goldberg and other stuff as a bigger thing, and you've got to watch his episodes of Friends now that I mention it. But his role and Honey Bunny's role as just kind of like Renfield's, to steal from another podcast, to Walken's Gabriel, they don't do a lot, and I didn't think they did a fair explanation when we first see him of understanding that he had just committed suicide, but Gabriel was keeping him alive. They explain it more later on, but like his whole attitude that entire time isn't well explained.
No, but I do want to point out that the guy who played Thomas is Casey Jones.
Yes,
Turtles 1 and 3.
That always think of him as Casey Jones, and it's the friend with Eric Stoltz from Some Kind of Wonderful, the punk dude who was sketching pictures of his girlfriend without skin.
I only care about him as Casey Jones.
I mean, he was really cool as Casey Jones. He's been in a lot of stuff. He plays a cop in a lot of stuff.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Virginia Madsen, who is someone that I always feel like she's way underrated. But I go back to Electric Dreams, which was the movie where the computer came to life and tried to romance her with playing music, and she played the cello. But she does so many things, and yet it seems like she never really gets the due that she's earned. I don't hear people talk about her being in Sideways as much as some of the other people that were in it, and I haven't seen the film. But she's goddamn Candyman. You know, she's done such a range of things. And I don't know, man. I always liked her. I always thought she was cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with her. Do you want to give a synopsis?
Okay. This one's a little weird. So it starts out with Casey Jones. We're just going to refer to him as that. It's easier than Cody is, whatever his name is. Casey Jones is an altar boy in a church. He's about to become a priest. He's about to get ordained.
I like how he's the same age when he's getting ordained as the fast forward when he's now a cop.
They do the best they can, but he's got no hair. So it's like the wig they put on him later is like really stands out. But yeah, so his buddy gets ordained and everything, and he's kind of like having weird bits going on in his head, and he goes to lean forward to kiss the ground and sacrament himself, and and then he has visions of this war between angels and demons and Earth, and it's getting torn up in the crossfire of it. I mean, it's all implied. The effects in this very much of that time kind of remind me of the effects from things like Nightbreed.
Yep.
Every time they show the dark, it's like that came some sort of like swirling blue light filter kind of thing, and stuff moving around a little too fast and flashes. So it part of the fact is the movie has such a time point that it's made in that it feels really dated for that reason. But yeah, so he has these visions and he decides, well, can't be a priest now. Don't believe in my faith is shattered. So I'm going to be a cop. So the next thing you see him is he's a cop.
Sounds about right.
And he meets up with this dude who comes into his home after somebody killed, something happens. Like, I know that some shit goes down and like he shows up at a murder scene. Oh, that's after. It's weird. It's like the angel just shows up at his house.
Yeah.
So this angel, Eric Stoltz, you're should have been Marty McFly, but wasn't. Mm-hmm. He's in there. And so every time an angel comes around, the first thing they do is they perch on something because they don't have bones. They don't have a lot of body weight, although they have 2 sets of genitals. So what are you going to do? But they don't work. So they perch on something. They're standing on the backs of chairs and everything. It's like, oh, that chair should flip over, shouldn't it? Oh, something's weird, but it doesn't matter. Eric Stoltz shows up and says, hey, something's going down, but he's all cryptic and shit, and he leaves. And then the next thing we see is Stoltz's character gets attacked by another angel dude who doesn't have eyes.
Yeah.
And So this is where I start to look at the screen and I go, this reminds me of Highlander. Because it's these dudes in trench coats just meeting each other up and like trying to kill each other, and it seems like there could be only one kind of thing. And then I looked it up, and this movie was written and then directed by the guy who wrote Highlander. And it all kind of made sense. I was like, oh, okay, it's Highlander with angels. That's fine. I get it. I see what you're doing, Monty. So that guy dies. Casey Jones shows up at the crime scene, and that guy's got his book in his apartment that he wrote about, losing your faith in religion or whatever. Probably listened to a lot of REM at the time. And yeah. And so he's like now on this thing of, well, this is all fucking weird. And this guy's got no bones and 2 sets of genitals and eye sockets, but no eyes ever. Like there's no actual organs in there from the eyes. He's like, this means something. Meanwhile, Stoltz, who's a little beat up, goes to this town. Oh, first, shit. This is how convoluted the plot is. Like, I'm already forgetting big key points of it. So this military dude has died, and I guess that's part of why they're following it. Yeah, the corner is fun. Military dude dies. The paper is talking about that in the apartment, so I think that's where Casey Jones decides he's going to follow out where that is. Eric Stoltz goes to the funeral for the dude, Frenches him in his coffin, sucks out his soul, and then goes to a elementary school on I think a Native American grounds, because there's a lot of Native American kids mixed in with the classes there, and a lot of this takes place in a Native American lands and stuff as it goes on. But he finds this little girl, Mary, and then all of a sudden he's making out with her. That was weird. And weird. puts the military guy's soul into her body. And then he's all like half dead in the school. And that's when Gabriel shows up and finishes him off. He's like, I need that man's soul. I love that man. Because that man was a fucking horrible, the worst person in the world. Like literally the worst like a Keith Olbermann skit on his old show, the worst person in the world. Because he's like does all these war crimes and stuff, and people don't really know that he's considered a military hero, but secretly he's been like skinning people's faces and shit. Just like the worst.
I like the weird face box that they find later.
Yeah, exactly. Not what I would call a face box, because that's all. Anyway, so Gabriel wants to find that guy's soul because that soul is going to be used to help win the war between the angels who are against God to try to win God's favor so that he loves them again, to take that away from the humans, versus the angels who are still true to God and want to protect the planet and everything. And like, we don't really need all this love shit, and it's all this pride stuff. That's what this thing's about. It's like, you don't love me, I'm going to destroy the world so that you love me again, which is the same fucking plot from Dogma.
Didn't even think about that.
Isn't it? Like, you add Jay and Silent Bob to this, first of all, it's a much better movie. And secondly, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
And I don't blame Kevin for ripping it off. Good for Kevin.
No,
he did right by it.
I do want to point
we got
out.
to see Selma Hayek dance, so woof.
Ooh, yeah. Beat mentioned that the dead angel had a Bible with parts that weren't in a quote unquote modern Bible.
Right, that's true. A 23rd chapter of Revelations.
Somewhat important.
Yep.
He's being dead.
So that was yeah. So what happened? So Virginia Madsen, who's the teacher at the school, teams up with Casey Jones to try to protect the little girl. Whereas Gabriel's like, I've got to get that little girl to get that soul. There is a scene where he is talking to little kids and he's looking inside their mouths, I think, to try to find the soul. I wasn't quite sure why I was looking at people's teeth, but he does have them blowing on a trumpet, which I thought was just excellent.
Yeah.
Gabriel's trumpet. He's like, yeah, this is a special trumpet.
There
Put
was
your little mouth on this.
a lot of weird stuff that happened.
A lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
So the little girl starts to display memories and things, talking about stuff about how she killed people in war because she's talking like she's the dude whose soul she's got in her. And we talked a little bit about Gabriel's sidekick, about Adam Goldberg.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah, but do you think that the movie would have been? Do you think it would have sucked more? Okay, I don't know how to word this. Do you think the movie would have been different without him there? Like,
No, it seemed like the idea of needing somebody. It's kind of hilarious. It's like, why do you need me alive to help you out? Well, because I can't drive. Like
right.
that's the explanation we get when he brings the woman back from dying of cancer right when she's on the verge of death and she just wants release. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You're stuck with me for a while. She's like, why? Why do you even need me? And he's like, because I can't drive.
It seems like a really loose plot point.
Yeah, in her case and in Goldberg's case, they both just like, I'm just beating up on you until you kill me. Just fucking kill me. Just do this for me and everything. And that really didn't add anything. I guess it's a flavor, but you're right. Both characters had almost nothing to do with it. Didn't have enough screen time to develop or anything. We just get the fact that Gabriel's such a dick. He will keep you from death for his own, not just amusement, for needs.
I mean, he is the devil.
No, he's not though.
Well, Gabriel.
But he tries to be.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is the devil. My bad.
Viggo Mortensen is the fucking devil.
Yeah, you are very right. I'm sorry.
And so that's just it. So in the desert, which I think is where the devil always pops up, which explains Vegas. He shows up to Virginia Madsen's character and says, "Hey, just so you know, I'm part of this too, and I don't like what they're doing." He conveys the plot to these characters. It's like, yeah, they need this soul to try to win the war between the different factions of angels, and then they'll create heaven into another hell. And he's like, and I think that's one hell too many. So I'm on your side on this. And then he goes and talks to Casey Jones the next day and pretty much says the same thing, but he does give him an explanation of like, yeah, it confront Gabriel with the fact that this is all about his pride.
Yeah.
And that will turn the tides in your favor, which is weird because it seems like the devil could have just done that. But then the devil is made of lies, so
yep.
I don't know. But Viggo Mortensen really brings a gravitas to this that even Walken doesn't. Like, Walken's Walken, and he's solid in being who he is.
Well, right. If the character is Christopher Walken, he's pretty good at it.
Right. And that's essentially what that is.
Yeah.
But Viggo Mortensen is a badass Lucifer. Like, when he speechifies, when he sits there, when he shows up, he brings an electricity to it that the movie was otherwise missing. And so you look forward to his scenes, I think, more than anything else. And the rest of it just kind of is extraneous 90s horror.
Yeah. Do you see Beats' point? So the devil mentioning how no soul went to heaven for the last millennia was chilling. There were some really cool parts in it and like cool concepts.
There were some good ideas.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they did it now, if it would be better.
I'm impressed that Christopher Walken not only did this movie, but came back for 2 of the sequels.
I saw that there were more than one, but I didn't pay any attention to who.
I think there were like 5, and he did the first 3. And like heel turns,
4 sequels, yeah.
either in the second or the third one. Like he turns into a good guy. He realizes that he made mistakes.
I want to say we talked about it because there's Prophecy 2, The Ascent, and then Uprising and Forsaken.
Yeah. So Prophecy 2, and I have not watched these ever. This way I remember seeing in the theater. Prophecy 2, he escapes hell, or Lucifer kicks him out of hell. Same sort of line of like, 2 devils is one too many.
Yeah.
And he comes back up.
Glenn Danzig's in 2, sorry.
Oh, rock on.
Fucking, I mean, now I gotta watch it too.
Be saying Doug Bradley, Pinhead showed up too. In this one or in the sequel?
Doug Bradley.
I don't know. But Yeah. What you were saying though is that this storyline, this idea, I don't remember how many other things had done this before, but this was certainly like a big step into, okay, we're going to have angels and demons fighting each other. And we've had things like Legion and, like I mentioned already, Dogma and stuff. So there's been good examples of this. Legion even had a spin-off TV series that was on Sci-Fi for a while that did not impress me after Legion. Legion's a pretty solid movie. And so I like that. And even the idea of the Highlander angels versus angels kind of thing is cool. I mean, I was watching the Highlander TV series pretty close to around the time that this came out.
Yeah.
So I like that aesthetic, but Eric Stoltz's character kind of comes and goes pretty fast. You know, two angels die really quickly in this so that it doesn't seem like there's enough in it to feel like any of them are that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so having to fight Walken, it doesn't seem that impressive. They often, with the help of the devil, Lucifer's the one who tears his heart out, which is, I guess, how you have to finish them off to kill them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I could see that. You have to do something extreme to kill them, but
yeah, somewhat extreme. But like
yeah.
even just taking bullets and stuff, they fall apart pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it goes halfway to being something that could be really cool, and takes a lot of stops along the way. That if you had eliminated those, and focused more on the more prime story of it, maybe it could have been better. But it was 1995, so at that point in time, our expectations were, for this kind of movie especially, not high.
No. But would they be high now?
I think at this point in time, horror as a genre is looked at in the way that like comic books have been elevated. Like when I was a kid, comics weren't seen as cool. It wasn't until the graphic novel movement that they started to become really cool. And now everybody's like comic nerd fan in some way or another. And I don't want to imply that anybody is more of a fan than another person just because they like it a certain way or they like certain things. But I think horror has done a lot of the same stuff. It's like it took a long time for horror to be taken seriously as a genre. And even then, it's still certain kind of horror movies that stand out that are like, oh, well, this crosses the boundaries of horror into this other thing. It's like Us is a horror movie, but it's also this. And Silence of the Lambs is a horror movie, but it's also this psychological thing. And Hereditary is horror, but it's also 2 fucking hours too long. And that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, but I still think there's such a drive to the horror community. And part of it is because of the internet. Like people find each other with this stuff. So where it's not like it was ever closeted, but if you were a horror fan, you like slasher movies, you like B movies, that kind of stuff. They were always considered B movies. And now it's like, no, these things can be high-end movies. They can win awards. They can win Academy Awards. I think that, yeah, it would be different now.
Yeah.
But it would also probably be done by Blumhouse. And
yeah, I mean, I'd be curious if they try to do something similar now, or even if they remake it. Like, there's a very real possibility that they will remake this movie. But I'd be curious what it would look like.
Well, again, go back a few years and watch. Have you ever seen Legion?
I feel like I did.
So Legion's a war between angels. It takes place at a diner where all these people are. It has I think Dennis Quaid and I don't remember who else is in it. Paul Bettany is the main angel in it. And Aaron always would put it on and finally got me to watch it one day. And it's a solid little flick. I mean, again, it wasn't hugely popular. It wasn't a giant success, but I think it's a good movie. And the fact that it did get to have a spin-off series on Sci-Fi, granted, Sci-Fi also around that time did the Flash Gordon TV series. It just looked like a downgraded version of Power Rangers. But still, how often does that happen that you get a solid horror movie that gets to spin off into a TV show?
I mean,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hannibal.
But that Hannibal came out a long time after, and Hannibal is another thing that's looked at as being, while not successful as far as viewership, hugely popular with the fan community, and was really well made and gorgeous, and could still come back. I keep saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I should probably watch it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's one of those things I need to get to and watch the whole series.
Yeah. Where are we in this movie?
I feel like we kind of finish it off.
Okay.
That's the thing; it just sneaks up on you. We're at the part where all of a sudden the music kicks in, and while it sounds like Collective Soul, you'd be surprised to find out that it's actually the third album from Skid Row.
Ooh.
Did you know that? Did you make it to the credits?
Ooh, I thought that was a joke.
No, I'm
Oh no,
100% serious. So I've never listened to anything by Skid Row past Slave to the Grind, which is the second album, and I hear this song playing it in this movie. I'm thinking, wow, this sounds typical 90s, like listen to that twangy guitar. That sounds like Collective Soul, but some weird singer over it. And I'm like, holy shit, that's Sebastian Bach.
Huh.
And this is off of their third album, which I guess was his last with the band. But yeah, it was the album that was produced by Bob Rock as opposed to their normal producer. And they will not play anything from the album live because they hated it.
Good old Bob Rock.
I mean, they had nothing bad to say about Bob. You know, Bob's a great producer.
Bob Rock also helped Metallica make Saint Anger.
Yes, and that's what they also compared it to. In fact, I think one of the things Sebastian said about the album is like, this is our Saint Anger. Because everything produced around that time sounded really bad, like poor production values. Again, the 90s was a weird time for a lot of stuff. Like we discovered all these effects and we just had to use all of them. It's like how in the 80s when we discovered the studio keyboardist could play all the different instruments that it used to take real live band members to play.
Yeah.
And so everything became a synthesized hot fucking mess and just plays in an elevator now. And you just scream to get out of it. And that's your M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's that same sort of deal as like, oh, look, we discovered. It's like when you're a kid and you discover your dick and you just want to play with your dick all the time. I mean, you're not past that yet. But when you get there, you'll understand.
I'm literally playing with my dick right now.
I believe it. Which is amazing because it means that you put down your phone.
Man, you got shit to do. I gotta watch pornography on my phone to play with my dick. It's kind of go hand in hand.
But yeah, so this movie, if nothing else, this movie put me on this rabbit hole dive into like hair metal bands and what happened to them when they suddenly broke up. And I'm like, oh yeah, and how many albums did Janie Lane stay with Warren on before they kicked him out and got a lead singer and before
I never thought of.
Yeah, but that was my Saturday night, man. I was just, I'm gonna check this out now. Oh wow, I remember that album. Oh, I never listened to that. That's great. It's not great. It's good.
It'll do the job. I guess we can rate this then.
Yeah.
The old Mary fuck kill. What would you do to her?
I want to say that there are parts of this that make it worth seeing once.
Yeah, I agree.
That's exactly where I'd leave it. Is like if you're drunk like mad on a Saturday at a wedding, and you wind up in the closet with a bridesmaid or a groomsman, whatever your preference.
I kissed a man on Saturday. I kind of remember.
Yeah. And that's just it's a good time in the moment. Then you just leave and try not to think about it again.
Yep.
That's this movie.
Beat saying that the second prophecy is better. Well, he said stronger, I guess. Let him clarify if stronger means better, but
that means it's pH balance for a woman.
Classic.
Christopher Walken chooses scenery. That's pretty much what Christopher Walken does.
Like, does he really chew the scenery, or are you just saying he's really good at it?
I hear that term all the time, and certainly when I hear it and I connect it to an actor, I see the similarities between the people that they're talking about that do that, but I've never quite understood what it means. I haven't taken the time to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know if I care enough to look it up either, but I agree with what you're saying.
I think it's just kind of like they sit there and they will act the shit out of something no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like you just kind of you're just sort of, oh, okay, yeah, what's happening doesn't matter. Just
Just
keep
go with it.
keep watching him. Just yeah.
Bite the pillow.
Nicholas Caging, that's fair. Uh, who's the asshole from Family Guy?
Seth.
No, the asshole is like they keep having him gone there and like take over Peter's life or take over his identity. The actor James Woods.
Oh.
Like, don't follow the fuckwit on Twitter or anything, but
Wow.
yeah, if you watch some of his stuff, he's a scenery tour.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess I. So what did you go with?
I went with
Is it technically considered a fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
technically.
I'll do the same. I know we're starting to get a little too.
Probably got a bit of whiskey dick, but
There's an open marriage in there. There's a fuck with an option. There's heavy petting.
yeah, this is whiskey dick fuck. This is like, it's not my best, it's not your best. We're not going to talk about this.
Fuck.
It's not a secret shame so much. It's just like we're not really even going to think about it again. It doesn't quite count.
Right. Could be worse.
It's like the girl who was supposed to be a virgin in Monster Squad.
Ooh.
It's like, well, that guy, but he doesn't count.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I don't know.
I mean, technically, there's penetration.
Oh Jesus, you're still on this. I'm not gonna make.
I've got way too little experience about sex to hold back on what I think it must be like.
All right, Beat's happy. So Beat did recommend this, and he's happy that it wasn't a double kill.
Nope. It in all fairness, it's I watched it before. I wasn't mad about having to watch it again.
Yeah. I kind of want to see the second one, to be honest.
Yeah, and I thought about that too. It was like, oh, should I do what I like to do, which is I just watched this one and now I'm going to go and do extra homework. But it was 3:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, you shouldn't be. You should be asleep, little buddy.
No, not on my Saturdays.
Don't know how you do it. I am gonna watch that Legion TV show though.
No, not the show. Watch the movie.
I've seen the movie.
Okay.
I remember seeing the movie.
I didn't get far into the show. I think I maybe got 20 minutes into the first episode of the show, and I was like, oh, this feels like it's a sci-fi show. Everything's taking place in some, old airbase hangar that's all dark so that you can't see the fact that it's just a bunch of steel walls around, and that's why it feels hollow.
God damn it.
It's just their production values are what they are.
Yeah.
But sometimes they hit magic. Sometimes they have a really fun show like Winona Earp, which is based off a really cool comic, so it helps. But they've done great stuff with that show. I enjoyed Killjoys for a little bit. They have the ability to make fun stuff outside of the fact that the production values are not high. But that's Doctor Who, which I know is your favorite.
Something like that. Yeah, so like I said, I don't know what movie I'm doing next week. So Corey gets 2 weeks off. He's going on vacation, a much needed vacation. I have no idea who's going to be here next week and what movie I'm doing.
That's good.
But I do know that next week, which I think Corey's really happy to not be here for, it will be Saw 3 and 4.
Yay.
With Randy Fitzsimmons. I'm really hoping to bring Danny Glover back.
That has got to be the ultimate goal for this podcast now, is just to bring Danny Glover back.
Movie with Danny Glover. Randy did say he does want to record the longest episode we do have, so that would be anything north of 3.5 hours.
All right, guys, that means that whatever happens to you listening to that episode, it's premeditated, so you can actually take Matt to the judge and lock him up for life.
Yeah, we're going to be recording that on a Friday night, Friday, October 11th, because that's what works before I go out of town. So
to get drunk at a wedding?
No, I'm going for work.
Oh, get drunk at a work function.
I'm going to Denver for a conference, so I'm going to get drunk for work. Yeah, that's just playing my cards right, I guess.
I used to get drunk for high school.
Wow.
Well, drunk in high school. I guess it's different.
That makes a little more sense. You get drunk in honor of your high school.
I used to drink in my vocational class. We would go to lunch, get whatever fast food or whatever, and then on the way into my vocational graphics class, my buddy Darren started pouring a bunch of booze into my half-empty Mountain Dew big gulp cup, and so I'm sitting there and I'm drinking this in class, and Darren, who was quite the lush, got pulled out of class to go to basically to rehab, and as he's getting pulled out, I'm just sitting there still sipping this whatever the fuck he threw in there. Like, bye, Darren.
A delicious cocktail.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I guess Erica wants to do Scream 3 when you come back.
I'm all for it.
Do we have to?
Yes, we made a promise. Although Aaron was asking me to watch Brightburn the other day, and I said, I can't. I'm saving myself for Erica.
Well, so maybe we should do Brightburn. So, October 20th, that week, we have Anthony coming back, correct?
Yep.
To talk about abstraction, which I should probably respond to his message. And then maybe the week after that?
Sure.
I mean, yeah. I've just turned the end of this episode into planning.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
As opposed to telling people where to go to find us.
Oh, I guess you could do that, podcastterror.com.
Podcastterror.com. You can also find Matt on his other two shows, on Monster Madness Podcast and on The Cast and the Furious. Also, I want to mention a friend of the show, David Luzader, who we know from both Movie Go Round and from Brokebot Mountain, is one of the contestants on the new season of America's Next Top Podcaster, which another friend of the show, won last season. Yeah, Amy Frost won last season. Made it through the whole thing. Did you not know this?
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't have time for you now, dude.
I'm sure that's why she doesn't have time for me.
No, she does not have time. But
no, I assume she doesn't have time. I just still am very convinced she doesn't like me.
No, I think she does actually. She's shown up here plenty. I mean, more than some.
Yeah, for you. She's here to hang out with you, not me.
Anyway, so David Luzader is this week. It just started. I started listening to episodes a couple days ago. Is on Team 1, and yeah, there's 12 contestants. I don't know if it's officially on the Frog Pants Network, but it is Brian Ibbott's show, and it's got Scott Johnson as one of the judges. Justin Robert Young is another judge. They got Jenny Josephson as a judge this year, which Jenny is amazing. She's always been fantastic on the stuff that she's done with Tom Merritt, and Tom Merritt is the coach. So it's a really fun show. It's got an incredible cast of people behind the scenes, or as like the leads of it, and then all the contestants and stuff on there. So far sound great, and it's fun to listen to. And if you're interested in podcasting yourself, all the advice and stuff that they give in the contests that they're doing is really good advice for people who want to start doing the shows too. But David's a great guy, and I'm excited for him. So I hope he goes far in this.
I'd never ever heard of this.
You should. It's a good time.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. Interesting.
Like one of the things that I didn't know is that Amy used to do writing stuff for Galactic Network.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
It either.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's stuff I didn't know. So it's listen to your friends on their other shows.
Well, if I knew about it, I would have listened.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus. All right. So we're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, Podcast Terror. Email us at pod@gncast.com, podcastterror.com. Corey?
You can like the page on Facebook, or if you want to really win our hearts, you can join the group. We made a group, Podheads, the Podcast of Terror page or fan group, whatever it is.
Yeah. Where can people find you if you want them to?
Go to that page. Go to that group.
Okay.
Because I'll hang out there. I don't have anything else myself really going on right now.
No. All right.
Matt's on Untapped.
Untapped, Instagram, Matt the Lifeguard, duties. Be Master and Erica weren't mean enough this episode, so I'm not gonna cry.
Well,
so,
Erica's got to pace herself now. She's got you 2 times a week.
When she's lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's gonna do it for another episode of Podcast Zero. Talk to you guys next week.
Stay scary, everybody.
All right. I'm gonna save this and start mastering it, and then go fucking eat.
Yeah.
Apparently, last week I forgot to move the ending. So like the outro music was because when I open the template, it's at 47 minutes, then I always have to move it.
Oh, so you play the outro music halfway through the show?
Yeah, so Erica's husband Dan texts me and he's like, "Oh man, you scared the shit out of me when there's a drum solo 47 minutes in." I'm like, "Oh." So I like ran to my desk at work and then fixed it and re-uploaded it. He was the only person that said something.
Yeah, because probably the only person who listens.
Probably. I mean, you're not wrong.
But we appreciate him listening.
I mean, I'm indifferent about him. Ooh,
Hey, he stood up, not against you guys, but he handled being on a show with the two of you with a lot of aplomb.
that is true.
He did good.
Erica, no, not mozzarella sticks. My wife might be really pissed, but I made a sauerkraut and sausage soup, which I think sounds terrific. I've been reading a lot about bone broth, and it aids in digestion. So that and the sauerkraut should basically turn my stomach into a fucking factory, a stank factory. See what I did there?
Whereas I'm probably going to have nachos for the second day in a row as my meal.
Yeah, Beatmaster the full German. Really living up to my last name. I love nachos.
Yeah, but these are just chips with cheese melted on them.
Yeah,
They're really basic.
Pavchos.
And they man, just it's like how much grease can you really achieve? Oh, let's find out on this one plate.
Man, there's something special about melted cheese, though.
Yeah, it is good. But that's always my go-to if like I don't want to do anything like actually shop and or make a meal. Melted cheese is my fallback,
Yeah.
and I'm pushing 50 and pushing a lot more because I'm 50, eating a lot of cheese.
I mean, it's all you're really doing is you're working out your heart.
Yeah, my heart doesn't need that. I have a heart condition.
Erica, I did apply for the cheese curd job. There's fuck, who was it? Some website wants to hire someone to drive around the state of Wisconsin trying cheese curds for $12.50 an hour to a maximum of $1,000, and like post on social media and write about cheese curds.
Do they know that you do that already for free?
Yeah, but you have to be a Wisconsin resident, which I thought was kind of weird. I am serious. I did. It was like your name, your email address, need to answer 3 questions. But I don't think I'm serious enough, or like I don't think I'm funny enough, and I don't post enough on social media because you have to put your like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook on there.
Yeah, Aaron was saying to me. So Aaron saw a post, probably someone reposted it, but it's a post of the Wendy's Twitter having a back and forth with the Hooters Twitter, and she's like, do fast food places just have people that are doing their Twitter and just like do this stuff? I'm like, yeah, and Wendy's is supposed to have a really good Twitter. Like they're always throwing down, and so at Hooters like threw the gauntlet at Wendy's, like, okay, what you got? And Wendy said, uniforms that our employees don't freeze in the winter. And she thinks it's great. And she's like, you should do this. You would do so good at this. I'm like, I don't do Twitter, though. Like, I'm not sure that that's who I am as a person. She's like, yeah, but you're so funny. So I love that my wife thinks I'm funny enough to run Wendy's or other fast food places' Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. And now it's like cool to be mean, I guess.
There is a Hot Now, which is, I think, the last of its kind burger place, which is just in the next town from us. And have you ever had Hot Now? I remember them right before I left Michigan. They came into Taylor, maybe not when I left Michigan, but when I left Taylor in particular. So I was probably about 18 or 19. They appeared and they had really cheap but okay burgers. And one of the things they have is the olive burgers. And I think I mentioned this before, like olive burgers are big in Michigan. I don't know why. They're just burgers that are covered in fucking olives. Yeah, I don't get it at all. So my friend Nikki would order hot now, and she's like, "Oh, you want an olive burger?" I'm like, "The fuck are you doing? Eating an olive is burger? No, no, it's just got olives on it." Like, why would I want that? She's like, "You can take the olives off, but why spend the money to get this thing?" Anyway, so they were a chain for a good number of years, and I guess all of the different spots that they had closed up, and so there's one left, and it's about 20 minutes away from us. So I could see, yeah, just for kicks, they have a Twitter for that one Hot Now restaurant.
Oh, I'm sure they
Sure,
do.
I'll be their guy. I would do that.
You should apply for it.
I should. Like,
Hot and Now Twitter.
that is definitely the David to all the Goliaths of McDonald's and everything else.
Hot and juicy crawfish.
Where?
It was on Man versus Food. Locations. Locations in Vegas, DC, Orlando, New York, California, Arizona, and Falls Church, Virginia. Crawfish is a lot of work for not a whole lot of payoff.
Yeah, they're like little teeny lobsters.
Yep.
But when you do a crawfish bake and you just pour them all out with all the half ears of corn and potatoes and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Real place
suck
here.
the little tails out and you suck the little heads out and
Yeah,
all
we
that stuff.
have a place here called Big Pot, and that's the concept. It's like Asian and Creole style. So you pick like the meat that you want, and then the sauce, and then the spice level, and then you can add shit into it, and it just comes out in like a big fucking bag, and they give you gloves and like a bib and stuff. Pretty good.
Yeah, and I can't do any of that because I can't eat things that I recognize as the creatures that they were, even if they're just sea bugs. It fucks me up. Like I can eat lobster tail.
Yeah.
Because there's no like head and mandibles and shit attached to it.
Yeah, I'm cold blooded. I rip the fucking heads off and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I'm not built that way.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm gonna go eat dinner now.
Yes, you should.
So I will finish saving this after I eat, and then I'll upload it. So.
All right.
Well, you have fun on vacation. I'm sure I'll talk to you, but we will reconvene after that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see my dad's family finally after being here for a year.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Fortunately, he's still alive so far. So
yeah,
here's hoping.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
When was his birthday?
Oh, hey, happy birthday to your dad.
Yeah, this is not the one who cares about us swearing.
Well, he's not going to watch this video either way, but he just doesn't like Jack swearing.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him. Potty Mouth Jack Bacone. Potty Mouth Bacone. There we go. That's his new nickname. All right, man. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Take care. Thanks, everybody.